What's up, trainiacs? Welcome to this week's Triathlon Newsday Tuesday, where we talk about another athlete getting busted for doping, forest fires causing the cancellation of 2 races in Western Canada, and Lionel Sanders did not win. Shocking, I know. Welcome, triathletes, to this week's Triathlon Newsday Tuesday, where every single Tuesday we talk about the news going on all around the triathlon world from the previous week. As always, make sure you stick around to the end of the video where we talk about everyone's favorite part of Triathlon Newsday Tuesday. That's a story from the trainiac community, and as always, full links to everything I talk about will be in the description below. Now, let's start off with news that a former elite ITU athlete from Canada, Natasha Yaremchuk, ended up getting banned for 14 months for 2 banned substances. Now, she was a former elite ITU triathlete who switched to running in about 2012. Last year in 2017, after finishing 10th in the Dublin Marathon, she got tested, and those tests have just come in this year, and it was announced that she tested positive for 2 weight management supplements that have been on the banned list for a while, CMBA and Hygenamine. Now, this has resulted in a 14-month ban that has been retroactively backdated to the date of the Dublin Marathon. So she's going to be banned for 14 months going forward from that, which puts her at December 2018 until she can race again. Now, personally, from what I've heard all around, I think that doping, particularly in like the non-elite levels, is probably more rampant than a lot of us think. And somebody mentioned to me while I was down in Boulder, they said it's as simple as somebody who's over 30 going in and saying they feel low, getting tested for testosterone, and almost all over 30 athletes are low in testosterone. Bam, you have testosterone supplementation. Essentially, you're doping. This, however, was a fair bit beyond that. Smoke issues from BC wildfires that have been rampant. I think the final tally is that there were 52 forest fires going on simultaneously in the Okanagan Valley, and it caused the cancellation of 2 triathlons over the weekend. The first one was the Super League Triathlon, which is a multi-day race, and starting in the second day, they had to start canceling the pro events. The other race was the Kelowna Apple Triathlon, which is our national championship, and had to be canceled outright. Chris McCormick of the Super League Triathlon series ended up announcing that pros would be welcome to come race in New Jersey so that they can still go for the coveted golden ticket, basically a grand prize available to some of the top finishers. And the CEO of Triathlon Canada talked about the Kelowna Apple Triathlon, stating that new plans are going to have to be made for the allocation of points that were awarded to the Kelowna Apple Triathlon pro triathletes, because it was a big factor in selecting our Pan Am Games team. Personally, I'll say that just yesterday I was doing a bike, and even though we were probably 3 days past the smokiest that it had been here in Winnipeg, I had a really hard time breathing, and we are basically as far away as LA is from Austin. And that far away, it was still quite tough to breathe. So imagine basically right in the thick of it, only hundreds of kilometers away from the forest fires, it would have been terrible. So I don't blame them for canceling the races. In ITU racing, Gustav Iden from Norway upset the entire field, coming in as the 24th ranked world triathlete in the short course events, and he beat the likes of Jonathan Brownlee and his countryman Christian Blumenfeld by 30 seconds, which is eons in ITU racing. On the women's side, hot off her win at the European Championships, Nicola Spirig, who is the 4th oldest woman in the field, proved that she is still got it, winning on the women's side. On Ironman racing, it was a very big weekend, with the premier event being Ironman Mont-Tremblant, which we'll get to in a second, but a couple of the other races that happened were Ironman Copenhagen, which was won by Cyril Vignot. Half Ironman Dunlughair in Ireland, I'm sure I messed that up, was won by Emma Pallant and Elliot Smiles. Tim Reed and Beth McKenzie both won in Half Ironman Bintane, and Corinne Abraham won in Full Ironman Kalmar. Let's get into Full Ironman Mont-Tremblant, where Lionel Sanders was coming in as the massive favorite. It is the premier event in full Ironman distance racing here in Canada, and we have the likes of Cody Beals coming in, Antoine Jolicoeur Desrochers, all from Canada, coming in really good form. Matt Russell coming back off of his continued recovery from damn near getting his head cut off, and the weekend did not disappoint. Now, this was broadcast live on Facebook, as Ironman has been doing over the course of the year, and Cody Beals, in his Ironman debut, set a bike course record and a full course record, winning in 8:10:36. Now, what's notable about this is A, Cody Beals wins in his debut at the full Ironman distance, and B, Lionel Sanders was almost 14 minutes back. Now make sure you're subscribed, because in the next few days I'm going to be doing a recap video analyzing why Lionel Sanders didn't win, why I believe that is. But the podium was rounded out also by Matt Russell, who is just, I believe, less than a minute back from Lionel. And it was a very emotional time seeing Matt roll his way across the finish line. On the women's side of the race, the three favorites, Liz Blatchford, Lauren Brandon, and Meredith Kessler, were fighting to get themselves up in the Kona Pro Rankings points to get those last few spots, because these are the last few days of being able to qualify for Kona this year. And in that order, Liz Blatchford, Lauren Brandon, and Meredith Kessler all got on the podium and all punched their tickets to Kona. So congratulations, ladies. It was awesome to see you battle it out, just being within minutes of each other. In the podcast, just this past weekend, we released the interview that I did with Talbot Cox. It was like the Matrix. The blogger was blogging the blogger. It was a great interview, getting to know Talbot and a little bit more of what happens in behind the scenes of Talbot's productions with all the pro triathletes, and going into South Africa Half Ironman Worlds these next couple of weeks. We have a couple of really good podcasts lined up with the likes of people like Sam Appleton, Lucy Charles. So make sure you're subscribed in wherever you get your podcasts. It's gonna be good. It's getting good. Still good. Now, let's get into everyone's favorite part of Triathlon News Day, the story from the Trainiac community. And today's story comes from Stephen Gorman, who says, "Ever since I was a little kid, I've always battled depression. Even in elementary school, I knew I was different. I would not want to get out of bed, and I'd sleep for days, and I never really liked myself. Then would come a pain that's hard to describe. It would hurt so bad that I didn't want to go on anymore. In 1995, I lost my younger brother, who at 21 years old committed suicide. I felt anger, pain, and sadness. For the next 2 years, I was numb and lost with who I was. But I knew I could never cause my parents, family, and friends any more pain like we had just experienced. I would not give up, and I would fight. 2 years later, a coworker was showing off his medal from the New York City Marathon, so I signed up for the New York City Marathon to see if I could do it. At the time, I couldn't run more than a quarter-mile lap without stopping, but soon I found myself running longer, and I had found it. I found the busy working of my brain quieting down. The pain and numbness were gone. It was in this space that I began talking to my brother. When I was finished my runs, it felt great, like a 50-ton boulder was lifted off my shoulders, and that I was going to complete that race, and I would not let my brother down. I was doing this for him and with him." Well, I did. I ran the New York City Marathon in 4:08, and I had my brother's name on my hand, and we did it together. I realized exercise and running made me a better person and gave me the ability to control my depression and not let it control me. Fast forward to today, and recently I've let myself slip health-wise. And 2 years ago, I lost my dad to cancer. I remembered how running and triathlon made me feel back in the 90s, so I've now signed up and dedicated the 2018 Santa Rosa 70.3 triathlon to him. Just like my brother, I speak to my dad and feel like he's with me every step of the way. I don't have all the answers, but I know exercise helps keep me in control. I can work on my problems and find solutions to help make my life better. I truly believe triathlon has made me a better person. This is super touching, Stephen, and thank you for sharing this, because I think it's important to talk about mental health, and I think it's really important to talk about how exercise, activity, and triathlon can give you meaning and help alleviate that without the use of being dependent on medication. It's affected our family, and I've also seen how exercise has helped alleviate that. So thank you very much for sharing your story. If anyone else wants to get their story shared here on Triathlon Newsday Tuesday, email me at Taren@triathlontaren.com. And if you aren't yet subscribed and you dig these Triathlon Newsdays, hit the subscribe button below. If you are already subscribed, I like you. Come with me and Mel, she's right over there, to South Africa. It's going to be fun. Later, Trainiacs.